So the last time I made a video was a little bit over a year ago, and I said that I was going to say whether or not I like living in St. Pete. And I'm actually really glad that I did not make that video at that time because I feel like I was going through what could only be described as culture shock. And I know that probably sounds quite weird since this is the United States. However, it took me about a year to adjust to my new environment, and I've been living in St. Pete now for a little bit over 2 years. And I will say that I do enjoy living here. I like it. It's home now, at least for the next couple of years. Even though this is still Florida, it is very different, in my opinion, from Miami. However, I will say the fact that I lived in Florida for over 2 decades, I think that kind of helped me adjust to living here in St. Pete. I know that sounds weird because I just said that it's completely different, but I just mean like the weather, the climate. It's still Florida, still hot and humid. It's April, it's the beginning of April, and I'm sitting outside sweating making this video because it's hot and humid outside. Why is it hot? I will say though that Central Florida in general has cooler temperatures during winter time than South Florida. In Miami, it'll be like 60 degrees for a few days, and that's a nice little break, and then next thing you know it's 80 degrees again. But here it'll be consistently between like 40, 50, and 60 degrees, which takes some getting used to, because I'm not used to that yet. I am just not used to 40 and 50-degree weather, having to wear a jacket. I'm sorry, that's jacket weather for me. It's sweater weather. So for me, that's an adjustment. I really don't want it to be that cool. Perfect will be 70 degrees. In the 70s, I would be so happy if it was 70 degrees year round. I would love it, but it's not like that. But we do get a few days like that. I feel like it's not like that today. It feels like it's in the 80s today. It's quite warm. Another thing is the fact that we get hurricanes. I'm used to hurricanes. So we just got two really bad ones in 2024, Hurricane Milton and Helene. And I know quite a few families, over 10 families, were displaced because they sustained flood damage. Some of them, most of them, are still not back in their homes. Only a few of them are just now starting to get back in their homes, and others still have weeks of work left to do because they had to wait on permitting and just a whole bunch of stuff. Insurance and FEMA, don't get me started. So it's a lot. It's not for the faint at heart. I do feel like yes, everyone was doing the what I call the COVID shuffle. During COVID, they were working from home and able to move into different states, Florida being one of the major ones. And yes, we had a huge influx of people, but I felt like these two recent hurricanes really rocked the world of a lot of people. And they were like, nah, this is not for me. And they dipped because it really does feel to me like a little bit less people. And that's not an exaggeration because we have whole neighborhoods where house after house is completely vacant because people are still displaced. And I think some people are gone for good, and I think some people are just had to move into an apartment while they fix up their house. So that's what's going on in Florida. And but you have to pick your poison. I don't really think it matters where you move on this planet Earth. You're going to have to deal with some kind of extreme weather condition, earthquakes, hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, fires, you name it. If you feel like you can handle hurricanes, then Florida should be a contender. But just know it's real. It's a real thing you will have to deal with. Yes, I do, as I mentioned, like living here. I do have a list of things I don't particularly like about living here, but this is not a bash St. Pete video. However, if you're curious about my list and you want me to make a video on that, just let me know. Write it in the comment section below and I'll let you know. But there are a few things that I'm going to point out in this video. I do like to go for walks on occasion. I live in a pretty decent neighborhood. And so do my neighbors. They like to go for walks. We walk for exercise. You'll see a lot of people every single day walking their dogs, pushing baby strollers, and we're all doing it in the street because there are no sidewalks. A lot of the neighborhoods, the residential neighborhoods, have no sidewalks. What is that about? I don't like that. That makes me feel unsafe, but it is what it is. That's the situation. The other thing, the flip side to it, is a lot of the streets in the residential neighborhoods have a ton of speed bumps and dips to the point where I feel like, actually, I was going to say, I feel like it's excessive, and maybe if they had sidewalks, it would be excessive, but I guess it's really to keep pedestrians safe because they don't have sidewalks. That's just the way it is. And I'm embarrassed to admit, but I am going to just say it. I never even knew what a dip was until I moved to St. Pete. And if you don't know what a dip is, that's just what it sounds. It's a little dip. So you'll find them mostly at the intersections. A lot of the some, not all or anything, I don't want to exaggerate, but you'll find some raised, what they call raised intersections, like a giant speed bump, and it'll have a little dip, and then you'll go over the raised intersection, then you'll dip back down. That's St. Pete neighborhoods for you. So again, this is not, I'm done. I'm not bashing St. Pete. That's just something, it's not a deal breaker, but it's just something I noticed. Yes, it is expensive, but it's expensive everywhere. It's not as expensive as Miami. I feel like Miami is a larger city. It has more people. Of course, it's going to be more expensive. And it's not nearly as much traffic as Miami. I feel like there's traffic in Miami all day long. That's just my personal opinion. Here, you have traffic during rush hour like you're supposed to when people are going to work and coming home. So it's really not that bad. I When I first visited St. Pete, I might have mentioned this before, it felt like a city but a small town rolled into one. I feel like it no longer feels that way because of the influx of people. It's a lot more people. I feel like the amount of people, St. Pete can, the infrastructure cannot handle the amount of people, in my opinion. So it just feels like a city in a crowded town, if that makes any sense. It feels cramped and crowded, but I'm used to it and I like it. I like living in St. Pete. Just know that yes, you will have to deal with hurricanes or the threat of hurricanes every hurricane season. Again, you will have to pick your poison. You're going to deal with some kind of extreme weather. It's just the way it is. On a positive note, I have a huge announcement to make that I'm really excited to share, and I will be sharing that in my next video. And no, it will not be a whole year from now. It's going to be dropping soon after this one. So until next time, I will see you later.